Good day, everyone. Welcome to Studio 77. This is the corner of culture and tradition brought to you by Studio 77. And I'm your host, your girl, TKD. And I hope you have been good. That has been your week. So, last week we had a very interesting discussion about the Chinese culture. Talk about how they value respect, loyalty, their hierarchical nature. So, I'm talking about the food binding in the Chinese culture. This culture was rampant till the year 1911 when feminists and Christian Chinese said, no, this is not wrong, this is very wrong. So what did they do? They bind the feet of 4 to 9 years old girls, mostly girls. They bind their feet. They will break the arc of the foot. Can you hear that? They will now coil the toes on. I mean, like, let's say this is the foot. They will coil this one like this and coil them to this side, giving like a pointed shape. To do that, they will first soak the feet in a warm water or animal blood mixed with herbs. So the toenails will be cut very short to prevent infection. Can you guys following me? They will first soak the feet in warm water or herbal mix. They will now bend the 4 toes. They will first cut the toenails so that there will be no infection. The arc of the foot will not be bent. They will not break the arc of the foot into a crescent shape. They will now bind it. I can't even imagine. I can't even imagine what those guys will be going through, because as a scientist, at that age, the bone of the feet are already forming. They are not as soft as a baby's own. And during my research, I saw that this culture started from a dancer, a palace dancer called Yao Niang, because she bent her foot, and they believe that her bending her foot make her look graceful and beautiful. Then you pass it to people, to a country at a large, and you made girls go through seasons of having to do that every time. So during my research, I found out that it got to a time where foot binding becomes an evidence of beauty. Really, like, if your foot is not bind, if your foot is not binded, you're not eligible to become a wife. To the point that they even said that mother-in-laws sees foot binding as a sign of submissiveness, that for that you are docile, for that, oh, you can do work that they want you to do. Now, like, really? Guys, I found out a lot though. Let me continue reading for you. So they say foot binding became associated with beauty, with femininity, and a sign of being able to afford not to work. Meaning that if the foot is binded, you won't have to work. So they believe that you must be rich, you must be affluent, you must be wealthy for you to bind your, because literally your foot will become like this shape, like this, something like this shape, and you have to stay in one place. You cannot move around. Even when you are working, you have to work very slow, and you're working like tiptoe. You know that kind of working. How is that even graceful? Because I don't know. I think that definition of graceful is sounding somehow to me. So they said, mother-in-law particularly viewed this thing as a sign that, oh, the girl is docile, she will not be stubborn, because they believe that if you allow people to hack your feet, bind it, to show that you can listen to instructions and do so many. I'm like, really? It doesn't have to be. It doesn't even have to be up to that, because it's not a definition of being good. So they said when initially was likened to beauty before, and it got to a stage where now about the community something everybody has to do it, to start making money with it, because it takes an expertise to be able to bind foot. And people that are still alive today, that their foot was binded that time. There are people like, I'll show you guys pictures that I saw online. There are women that are still alive, they are alive today, that their foot was binded that time too. So they said it goes to time that people that their feet were binded were able to sit down, they can weave, they can spine, you know, that weaving and making of like ashoke here in Nigeria. So they were able to do that, and that give money to the family. They say that if their foot is binded, they'll be able to sit there in one place, do their weaving, do their spining, and be able to get money for the family to support their husband. For me, I feel like that's just too much. They can literally make as much money as when they're on our feet, like their normal feet. And let's even leave the fact that this has to do with them going through the pain, the torture of trying to fit into a standard that the society created from one person's perspective. Let me say that again. Meaning that before this dancer came, and that was Jaonian, women were seen to be beautiful. They were beautiful. They were grateful. They were working for their family and they are doing very well. But suddenly somebody came and the narrative changed, and it got to a point where you have to be like this type to be called beautiful. And I feel like that's what is occurring around us, which I believe many people don't pay attention to. People believe now that if you don't have this set of clothes, you can't be termed beautiful. And it left me wondering that who made the standard of beauty to be this and that? Because really, it's not supposed to be up to that. But if you're not dressed a certain way, or you don't have certain type of hair or accessories or money level or something, you're not termed to be okay and well to do. And even though we can see that this thing is very, very long time ago, it's still occurring among us. Many people today want to do BBL because they want to fit into the hourglass shape. Really, it's not even compulsory, because many people used to do it and they're not even fine after. Sorry to say, I'm just saying. I'm saying that that's not the criteria for it. And many of us we try so much to fit into standard that the world has created, the society has created for us. We try to put ourselves into that box. That's what occurs with the Chinese culture. So when it comes to the cultural aspect of this thing, I feel like Chinese are deeply rooted in their culture. They place value on so many things, and their women are seen as an integral part of the culture. So foot binding gives them a new identity and equals to their culture. And I've not even seen it anywhere. Maybe it's in Nigerian culture that me I've not seen it, but I feel like that's the first time I will see something like that in a culture, because the women have to go through pain. And people believe that if you can withstand the pain of foot binding, it shows that you can endure suffering. It shows that you are a good person. It shows that you can endure what comes to you as a person, and you're able to do better in life. Their belief, I say. So let's talk about how did this practice went on. Was it only good for them? Yes, there was an increase in their economy. People start paying attention to them. But what are the bad part of that occurred to their culture? The fact is that their women started developing infections, and that started affecting them. The women that the arc of their feet were broken. They suffer infections like severe pain and disabilities. Many of them were not able to work again for the rest of their life, because it's not every one of them that was able to withstand that pain and came out beautiful. Some died doing it, because it's like you are trying to change something. So even though that's one advantage, they are able to become beautiful and well. They suffer pain and disabilities. Many of them have frequent infections because their toes are binded, and couple that their countries, they have many waters around them. Women have to go to the stream to fetch. Twenties that make them susceptible to so many infections. The women become housebound. Many of them cannot walk around, and that's so bad, because as human, when you sit down for so long, your body will start getting, now you'll be agile or start walking, and so many things around them, and you have long time deformities and bone damage, because at that time you have hacked the bone. It became bent, and that's not the original design. And the reality is that when you change something from the original design, it has effects on your other person. Your blood will not be able to flow to the blood supposed to flow to. So many things. So even though it's a beautiful culture that they loved, but the constraint on the female part was so big that they became very unhappy, because they have to start learning how to walk gracefully. They could not do so many because they are housebound. They have frequent infections and so many things. And it even got to a point that until the Christian missionaries of Chinese had to intervene in the 19th century, in the 20th century, there was nothing done about it. That means that these women went through years of suffering, years of being put in a box in the name of culture. Am I saying culture is bad? No. Am I saying it's not a good thing? No. What I'm saying is the fact that even though culture is a good thing, we should try and see the part of so and how they put this to everything they do, including what they wear, what they do, and so many things. And initially I was planning to bring a new culture to you today. But I thought, why do I have to do Chinese culture? Why give me something interesting about it? So I did my research, and I found out that there was this culture that reigned around 1937 to 1956 after death of Jesus Christ. And I thought, wow, that's interesting. And foot binding was still a part of their culture. It's still a part of their fashion, because that time they literally used to create shoes specifically for people their feet are binded. And if you don't have your foot binded, you seem odd, you seem like weird, you seem outcasted to them. So I want to talk about the cultural effect that this thing had on the Chinese culture that time. So I have some few things. They said it became their beauty standard. Small feet were seen as delicate, erotic, a symbol of refinement and female virtue. Meaning that at that time, it has that impact, because they feel like, oh, if you are this small, you walk very gracefully, that means you are women, that means you're able to do so many things. They believe at that time that that's their definition of being beautiful, a binded foot. For me, it is that marriage prospects. Foot binding became a sure that even if you want a good marriage, your foot must be binded. That men are not coming for women that their feet are not binded to that extent. That on their culture, and it also increased social status. Meaning that they believe that the man that her feet is bounded is wealthy enough. She doesn't have to work. Meaning that, in my own opinion, I feel like meaning that if your feet is not binded, you cannot say you are wealthy, because you have to go and work, you have to go to farm, go to stream, do so many things. So you can't have your foot binded, and that will just be all. Do you guys get me? So I think the cultural aspect shows that more than just the foot binding, it shows how patriarchal government can have control over women's body. I'm not trying to be feminist or something. It shows that they could use more than a century over foot binding because of somebody said, oh, this way of doing this thing is graceful, and I feel like, oh, maybe that's the way to do it forever. So as a person that is into culture and traditions, do you really think it's necessary, or do you think it's good to weigh the bad? Because that time people came to this town to check their cultures. There was increase in their economic status. People were seen to be, oh, their culture, they are innovative. But more than that, maybe they did not appreciate the fact that the women were suffering through pain, disabilities. Many of them suffered deformities, through disabilities. Many of them could not use their feet forever. Many of them became housebound in the name of trying to fit into the culture. And until the 20th century, in 1911, that missionary fought against it. That was when it declined. Not like it didn't stop. Till date, some women still have their feet bound. I'll show you the pictures. Trust me. They still have their feet bound. And if you see the shape of the feet being binded, you just feel like, oh, this is very bad. Because even with the way our feet is not binded, it's hard, because that time you walk, you be tired, you want to stretch your feet. They can't stretch their own, because the only toe that is just the toe. The other ones are happening, and there's no way they can do it. Do you guys understand? Like, there's so much more here to tell you guys. I feel like you should go and relate over that one. Do you think it's good thing to do, or do you think it's too much, or do you think it's something that we can't even live in Nigeria, because it's going to be extreme? How will you crack my foot at this age? Because the women, the females, the young ones have to go through. So the Chinese culture, they are deeply cultured. I love their culture. They have so many cultures. They have so many things that they enjoy their year compared to Nigerians. We really have Christmas, New Year, and they have their spring culture, their festival, their food culture. It's in depth. I love that. But sometimes it could be extreme too. And many of them see this as fashion that they are passing across to generations to come. But even till 21st century, some of these women have their foot bindage, and you can even see it in pictures online. Do your research. People, what do you guys think? Is it a good culture, or do you think it was extreme, or do you think it can be worked upon, or do you think she just... There's nothing we can do because I've already passed it. But I want your opinion on it. I want your comment on it. What do you think we can do, or what do you think women that are still their feet are still binded? What do you think should be their outfit like? But they will seem different, because now people don't have their feet binded again. They will be different from us. We are people now. move gracefully without having to have their feet binded. Can do things without having to have their feet binded, and they are still doing amazingly well in the world around us. So this brings us to the end of this episode on culture and traditions. Is there anything you want me to talk about the next, or another culture you want me to talk about? Just let me know. I will do my research. I'll bring to you a full gist about it. I know you have questions. I would love to see them in the comment section. So tell your friends, tell your family, and they should join us again on this platform for Season 7 for Culture and Tradition next week. And I remain your girl. I hope you stay loved, you stay blessed, you stay happy. Till I see you next time. Take care of yourself. Bye.